our biology online class. I hope all of you are fine. I hope that all of you are sitting with your biology text and note in front of your mobile or any media which you are attending the class. If not, quickly you may take your textbook and notebook and get ready for the class. Please, as I told you previous class, note down all the diagrams and the points as you attend the class. Last class we had discussed simple permanent tissues and meristematic tissues. Initially, tissues of one type, that is meristematic tissue, which has the ability to divide. Once these cells stop dividing, they attain a proper shape and structure, then on they are called as permanent tissue. Once they lose the ability, they are called permanent tissue. Permanent tissue is of two types. They are simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue is again divided into three types. They are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Complex permanent tissue is of two types, xylem and phloem. Last class we finished discussing the three simple permanent tissues. There is one more simple permanent tissue, that is protective tissue. What is the next one? Apart from the three tissues which we discussed last class, there is one more tissue, that is protective tissue. Protective tissue, there are two types. That is, not two types. In the plant body, the epidermis is the one protective tissue, and the other protective tissue which is formed later in the plant body is the cork. Hope this term is familiar to you, cork. We will be discussing these two today. And we will be also discussing the complex permanent tissue, that is xylem and phloem. Shall we go on to the points which we had left out in the last class in sclerenchyma? Sclerenchyma tissue is a dead tissue. Sclerenchyma tissue is of two types. They are fibers and sclereids. What are the two types of sclerenchyma tissue? Fibers and sclereids. Fibers, for example, coconut husk. Husk of the coconut is a fiber, which is spindle in shape. Two side ends are pointed and center one is little broad. It's called spindle shaped. Whereas sclereids are thick walled cells. You can irregular cells. They don't have lumen inside. Both fibers and sclereids are dead cells. Based on their shape, they are divided into two. Some of them are long and spindle shaped, which is called as fibers, and others are called as sclereids. These two terms keep in the mind. Two types of sclerenchymatous cells. The thickening of the cell wall is due to the presence of a complex sugar called as lignin. The cell wall is thickened. The thickening of the cell wall is due to the presence of a complex sugar which is called as lignin. In collenchyma tissue, you had learned that the corners of the cell wall is thickened. That corner thickening was due to the presence of a complex sugar called as pectin. These terms are new. Sclerenchymatous cells, the thickening is due to the presence of a complex sugar, lignin. And collenchyma, the thickening is due to the presence of the complex sugar called pectin. So these were the points which we had not completed last day. Now we have come to the end of the simple permanent tissues, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. There is one more simple permanent tissue. What we will be discussing next is protective tissue. Protective tissue is of two types in plant body. One is epidermis and the second protective tissue is cork. Clear? Epidermis and cork. Epidermis is the outermost covering, outermost layer of the plant organs. Whether it is a leaf, stem or a root. Any part of the plant body, the outermost layer is the epidermal layer. What is it? Epidermal layer. It is called as epidermis. The cells of the epidermal layer are closely packed. They are rectangular shaped cells which are closely packed without any intercellular space. Can you guess why? Well, it is for protection. The main function, I told you, it is protective tissue. So from that term you can understand that the main function of this layer is protection. It is often seen as single layer, but in xerophytes, the plants which are seen in dry places, sometimes they may be thicker or more than one layer. Usually it is single layer. And it is in the epidermis that we see small pores which are called as stomata. Clear? The stomata help in exchange of gases and also in transpiration. In certain plants we can see waxy coating on the epidermis, which helps to protect from extra loss of water, excess loss of water. In the roots we can see this epidermal layer helps in absorption of water. You can see from the root small hairs will arise, and these hairs, the epidermal layers in these hairs will help to absorb water. Usually the epidermal layer, I told you, it is continuous. It may be thick on the outer side and in the sides, whereas it may be little thinner in the inner side. Cells, usually the outer surface will usually be thick. In desert plants, we can see that the outer layer is thick. It's called as cuticle, and it has a chemical substance which is called as cutin. Desert plants, the outer surface of the epidermis is thick, and that is called as a cuticle, and it has got a chemical substance called as cutin. It is a waxy layer. And you would have guessed the reason. What may be the reason for this waxy layer to be present there? In order to reduce the transpiration rate, loss of water from the plant. Next protective tissue which we are going to discuss is the cork. Actually, cork is formed from the secondary meristem. Can you recall the meristematic tissues what we learned in the last class? Yes, we have primary meristem and secondary meristem. Primary meristems are apical meristem and intercalary meristems. Secondary meristem is the lateral meristem, because lateral meristem will start functioning only when the plant grows. So this cork which we are going to discuss now is also formed from the secondary meristem. So in trees, when the plants grow older, some of the cells in the cortex means just below the epidermis. Outermost layer is epidermis. Below that, a few layers of cells, we call it as cortex. So this cortex is made up of parenchymatous cells. When the plants grow older, some of these parenchymatous cells, a thin layer of the parenchymatous cells will become meristematic. What does it mean? They will gain the ability to divide. Actually, the cells in the cortical region, that is below the epidermis, are permanent tissue, are permanent cells. But when the plants grow older, a thin layer of the parenchymatous cells will regain the ability to divide. And so we call it as meristematic tissue. Since they are getting the ability to divide only in the later stages, we call them as secondary meristems. Initially, they are not dividing. They are becoming permanent. Later on, they start dividing. They get the ability to divide. So below in the cortical region, in the cortex, so a thin layer of meristematic tissue will start dividing and produce dead cells on the outer side, which forms the cork. The cells of cork are compactly arranged without any intercellular space. So intercellular spaces are absent. The cell walls of these cork cells have a substance called as suberin. Suberin makes the cells impervious to gases and liquids. The next tissue which we are going to discuss is complex permanent tissue. Which are the complex permanent tissues? Yes, xylem and phloem. Xylem tissue is a complex tissue because both xylem and phloem, both the tissues are complex because they are made up of more than one type of cells. Xylem tissue is made up of 4 types of cells. That is tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Same way, phloem tissue is also made up of 4 types of cells. They are seed tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. Xylem tissue is considered to be a dead tissue because except xylem parenchyma, all the other cells are dead. Phloem tissue is considered to be a living tissue because except phloem fibers, all the others are living cells. Let us now watch a video to understand the details of the tissues which we discussed today.
Last class, we had learned simple permanent tissues. Before going to complex permanent tissue, let us discuss the protective tissue, that is epidermis. We humans need a layer of skin to protect our entire body and internal visceral organs, right? Plants are not an exception to them. They all require a protective layer or a covering, and this we refer to as epidermis. Do you think that all plants have the same structure and same type of epidermal layer? Definitely not. Epidermis gets modified according to habitat and need. Let me ask you a question. What do plants living in the dry habitat need the most? Of course, it's water. So in order to protect the plant from loss of water, they have a thicker layer on the outer side. And this thick layer has got a water resistant substance called cutin. The epidermal layer of the aerial parts of a plant secrete some waxy secretions. And this waxy secretion protects the plant from parasitic infection, mechanical injuries, and water loss. Since they form the outermost layer of the plant body, it is protective in function. In roots, we can see the outermost layer, apart from protection, they also increase the surface area for water absorption. This protective layer is made up of flat cells without any intercellular spaces. The outer side is thicker than the inner side. And these cells, do they help in gaseous exchange? If they are continuous, it cannot go for gaseous exchange. But they have small pores in them which are called as stomata. These stomatas are guarded by 2 cells which are called as guard cells. These guard cells regulate the exchange of gases and water vapor by the water content present in them. Like the epidermal layer in the leaves and root, do stems also have this epidermal layer? No. As the plants grow older, these epidermal layers in the outer side of the plant is replaced by another tissue which is called as cork, or we call it as the bark. These are actually dead cells. They are compactly arranged and there are no intercellular spaces. There is a substance called suberin in them which is water resistant and also impervious to gas. Complex permanent tissues. They are those permanent tissues which are made up of more than one type of cells which work together to perform a particular function. The 2 types of complex permanent tissues are xylem and phloem. So first we'll discuss about xylem. Xylem is a complex permanent plant tissue which takes part in conduction of water and mineral salts inside the plant. They are made up of 4 elements. They are tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Now here you can see the picture of the four elements. Tracheids are long tubular dead cells with lignified walls. Tracheids possess various types of thickenings for mechanical strength. The thickened areas help in movement of water from one tracheid to another. Vessels, they are very long tubes which are formed by end-to-end union of a large number of dead empty cells where the transverse walls break down completely. The walls are lignified. Except xylem parenchyma, others are dead. So this is also a dead cell. Vessels and tracheids are conducting elements of xylem. Next, xylem fibers. They are sclerenchyma fibers found in xylem. Xylem fibers have thick pitted walls, narrow lumen and tapering ends. They provide mechanical strength. Next is xylem parenchyma. As I told you, it consists of living cells. Cells of xylem parenchyma store food. They also help in slow lateral conduction of water. So as a whole, xylem is considered to be a dead tissue. As only parenchyma, the xylem parenchyma is living, all the other elements are dead. Next, complex permanent tissue is the phloem. Phloem is a complex permanent plant tissue which takes part in conduction of organic food inside the plant. Phloem is called living conducting tissue as its transport channels are made of living cells. This phloem tissue is made up of four elements. They are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. First, sieve tubes. They are elongated tubular living conducting channels of phloem. A sieve tube is formed of a large number of thin-walled sieve tube cells placed end to end in linear row. The transverse end walls between adjacent sieve tube cells are perforated. They are called sieve plates. Next element is companion cells. They are thin-walled cells which lie on the sides of sieve tube cells. They maintain a proper pressure gradient in the sieve tube cells for conduction of conduction of food. Next element is phloem parenchyma. It is parenchyma present in the phloem. Cells of phloem parenchyma are thin-walled and living. They have two functions, that is storage and slow lateral conduction of food. Next, phloem fibers. They are the only non-living components of phloem. Phloem fibers are thick-walled, elongated, spindle-shaped dead cells which possess narrow lumen. They provide mechanical strength to the tissue.
I hope all the topics that we discussed today is clear to you. Dear children, please read the textbook minimum 2 times. After you have finished explaining all the tissues that we discussed so far, please write the answers for all the questions given after each topic and also at the end of the chapter from plant tissues. I won't be giving any notes from this chapter because whatever is given in the textbook and whatever you have noted from the video or from the slide which you watched will be more than enough. So please learn the topic and be ready to attend the next class. That is, we will be discussing animal tissues in the next class. So before you start the next topic, you must be thorough with the previous ones. Hope you will study. Thank you.